Now we're doing FreeCodeCamp Legacy Python for everybody. Object Lifecycle. All right, so make sure we got our notes. Boom. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom. Let's do our little thing with the date change real quick. Wherever it is. Right here. Let's change the date to today's date. And then let's do some learning. All right, so we got that. Let's drop it down 2. And now we know what to do. Let's go.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about Object Lifecycle.
The C, there's the C. He knew it was coming. Why didn't he just change the C to be bigger? Object Lifecycle. All right. Let's write this down real quick before we get any further. Object Lifecycle. There we go. Let's go.
What we mean by Object Lifecycle is the act of creating and destroying these objects. And I've been using this term constructor already. And so...
Let's write this down. Coffee's so gross. So bitter. Bitter. Oh, there's the C again. You know what? I'm at the point in my life to where I don't care about other people's symbology. I don't know what that C stands for. And you know what? I also, more than not knowing why there's a small C, I don't care. Let's just go. All right. So right here, we're going to say objects are created, used, and discarded. Objects are created, used, and discarded. We have special books of code, methods that get called when it's at the moment of creation. Okay. At the moment of creation, it's a constructor. And then at the moment of the other thing, at the moment of destruction, we got a destructor. Destructor. Okay. Constructors are used a lot. Destructors are seldom used. Right? Constructors are used frequently. Destructors are used rarely. Are rarely used. Okay. Let's go.
When we declare a variable, whether it's a string or a dictionary or a party animal, whether we create them and then they're discarded, and there's all this dynamic memory that comes and goes. And we, as the writers of objects, have the ability to insert ourselves at the moment of object creation and at the moment of object destruction. And we make special functions that we call the constructor, the object constructor, or the class constructor, and the destructor. And we don't actually explicitly call them; they're called automatically by by Python on our behalf. And so,
okay. Turns out, so let's do this constructor. Let's talk about it. Let's write about it. Constructor. The primary purpose of the constructor is to construct. Is to set up some instance variables to have the proper initial values when the object is created. There we go. So the primary purpose of the constructor is to set up some instance variables to have the proper initial values when the object is created. Set up some instance variables. Okay. Okay. I mean, I get it, but the words, so many words for a picture in my mind, So yeah, the primary purpose for of the constructor is to set up some instance variables to have the proper initial value when the object is created. So the instance variables, like yesterday when we made Lassie or whatever it was, the dog, that's the instance variable, and it has the proper initial values like bark, sit, and color, brown and white or whatever. So those are the initial values. So let's go. I said
the constructor is much more commonly used. It's used to set up any initial values of variables if necessary, et cetera, et cetera. Destructors we'll cover them, but they're used very rarely. So here's a bit of code that we.
Okay, here's some code that we are going to write down. Let's write this part first and then this part. So the constructor and destructor are optional. The constructor is typically used to set up variables. The destructor is seldom used. Okay. Let's do that again. The constructor and destructor are optional. The constructor is typically used to set up variables. Isn't that what we just said? The destructor is seldom used. Okay. Let's do this example. All right. So let's do this. Let's write this stuff down. So class party animal. It almost looks like something we've done before, but it's not exactly. So class party animal. So we're creating the class party animal template constructor, whatever. All right. Now we're saying X now equals 0. Then we'll say right here, def. So we're making a def. I don't know why we've got these underscores though. That's interesting, I guess. Initialize self. So self, it's going to target itself. That's the argument we got. All right. So now we're going to print. Okay. I am constructed. All right. So now we're going to do another definition of another method. Remember, it's methods if they're the functions inside of a class. So we're going to do self. Whoa, we're going to say def party self. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say self.x equals self.x plus 1. We've done this before. And then we'll say right here, print so far self.x. So far self.x. Awesome. All right. So now let's define this next thing. This next method. Del self. These look like those hold on. Man. There it is. Del self. So this must be the constructor, the delete. Okay. So we'll say right here, print I am destructed. Print. Okay, I am destructed. Okay. Wouldn't it be destroyed? But okay. So would it literally be the word destroyed? Yes, it would. It's look, Chuck does the best he can. Party. Animal. They're destructed. And party. And party. And equals 42. Print. Okay, and contains and contains, and then we'll have and right here. Okay. So when this thing gets run, right? Because we don't say destroyed, we say destructive. When this thing gets runned, just kidding. When this thing gets ran, and then this thing is destroyed, destructive. Oh my God. Whatever. You know what? Whatever. We're not talking about English majors. We're talking about coders, right? So when we run this thing, all right, let's call it Python Party 4 before we go any further, because we've run into this problem before. All right, so we're going to call this Python. We're going to call this Party 4. Party 4. There we go. .py. Okay. So we're going to run this thing over here. Let's say $, where you at, $? $Python party 4 .py. Shablam. All right. Now right here, we're just going to say, I am constructed. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to say, so far 1, so far 2, so far 1. Okay, so far 2, so far 2, so far 2. I am destructed. I am destructed 2. And contains 42. And contains 42. All right, let's look at this. Okay, let's look at it this way. All right, so initialize self. Okay, remember this part of the notes. Let me get the notes out. Remember this part of the notes. This stuff. Look, we got a. Whoa. We got an init. Do we got an init? Init. We got an init right here. We got an init, and we also got a del. Right. Not here on this one. What? Is it not a del? Is it not a string? A shawa? A hui? A weha? A who? What? Well, whatever. We've got a del down here. And we can pretty much guess what's going on. All right. So we got that. So def init self print I am constructed. All right. So this is, I guess that's the initial thing that it does. Okay. And then def party self, we're going to do add 1 to 0. Okay, so we got x equals 0, add 1 to it, so far 1, add 1 more, so far 2. Because we got and party again. And then and 42. All right, let's listen to him talk about it, because I am kind of confused.
We've got, it's our party used very rarely. So here's a bit of code that we've got. It's our party animal, and a lot of it is the same as what we've been doing so far. So we have this variable x, and the constructor has a special name, underscore, init, underscore. Again, we pass in the instance of the object, self. And in this one, all we're going to do is print out that you're constructed. And here's this code that we've had before. And now we have underscore, del, and then we pass in self. And we'll just print out that we're being destructed and what the current value of x is for that particular
He believes
instance.
The word is destructed. He does. You know what? We're going to go ask ChatGPT, because I don't want to be spreading misinformation, right? Not in 2024, you don't want to be. All right, ChatGPT. Is destructed a word or is the word destroyed? Self-destructed. Self-destructed. Machines med. So in most contexts, we should use destroyed. Destructed is technically a word, but it's rarely used in modern English. The more common and widely is destroyed. So when someone says in Python something is destructed, maybe they should have said destroyed. Okay. The correct term is destructed. Yeah. I think actually some idiot probably forgot that destroyed was a word, since programmers are notoriously dumb when it comes to actual spoken language. Forgot that destroyed was the word, then ran with destructed because of his foolish pride. You make an interesting point. You're right, I do. Yeah, no, I guarantee you that's what it is. Some idiot forgot that destroyed was a word and then ran with destructed. I guarantee you that's what happened. It wasn't him. It was some other idiot.
So let's go ahead and run this. And so, again, this doesn't really do any code up to here. That just defines party animal, but this is the constructing of it. And basically that says, oh, and it really kind of creates these variables, and then it also runs the constructor. And so in this case, this line right here is causing the I am constructed message to come out. Then we do and party, and that says, 1 and 2. And here's an interesting thing. We're actually going to destroy this variable by throwing away an no longer points at that object. An is going to point to 42. So we're going to sort of overwrite an and put 42 in it. And at that point, Python's like, oh, this whole little object that I just created, somewhere it's out here, it's vaporizing it and throwing it away. And so before this line completes, it actually calls our destructor on our behalf. And so that message comes out. So we are allowed, as the builder of these objects, to add these little chunks of code that says, I want to be involved at the moment this object is created, and I want to be involved at the moment that this object is destroyed. Now, in this last line, an is no longer a party animal. An is now an integer. It's got a 42 in it. It's gone. It's been created, it was used, and then it was destroyed. Okay? So you got to be careful. If you overwrite something, you sort of throw the object away.
Stop. Okay, what? All right, what? So this right here is only here. This delete is only here to write this down, I guess. And if this was not here, this delete was not here, this destructed thing wouldn't happen. Okay, I guess that's true. So the question is, why would you bother? And the answer is, I don't know. Let's see.
So the
he's not going to tell us. How typical. All right, maybe he did tell us, and I'm just too dumb to understand. Constructor. Let's type this down. I don't think he told us, though. I think he thought he told us. Constructor. You got to give people a break. I'm a little harsh with them, but yes, at the same time, got to give them a break. Because they don't know what they're doing. You got to understand this, like, if you really think about it, we haven't been around that long. When I say we, I mean us, as in every single person alive. okay? And then history of humans. I feel like since I've been watching media my whole life that I've lived a million lives over, but honestly, no, that's never happened. Actually, I'm only X years old, and we really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give the guy a break. He doesn't know what he's doing. Let's do this. Constructor. All right. So in OOP, a constructor in a class is a special block of statements called when an object is created. You got to give these people a break. They don't know what they're doing, you know? He didn't go to school to learn teaching. He went to school for computer science, right? That's why teachers don't get paid that much, is because if you just go to school for teaching, you don't actually know how to program. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you only know how to program and you don't know how to teach, well, you're not going to be a good teacher either. So, you know, it's a balance, this kind of thing. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, let's keep going.
Constructor is a special block of code that's called when the object is created to set the object up. So we can create lots of...
Okay. Anyway, let's do another one. Let's do this one. What time is it? 6:43 a.m. Friday. Many instances. All right. So we can create lots of objects. The class is the template for the object. Remember, also, you hear him saying template, and you're going to hear a bunch of idiots, complete morons, say template. This word is template, okay? The way speech works is first you say it, then you come up with the way to spell it. This word was pronounced like this, template, before this spelling came out. The thing is, this looks stupid, and English hates when things look stupid, so they made it look like this instead, which sounds different than it's spelled, but it sounds like template and not template. When you hear morons, complete idiots, and I'm talking about that guy, who's that moron, that stupid idiot? He's my rival. I've got him on my thing. The Primogen. He says template too. He's a moron. He is absolutely a moron. If you hear the word template, it's template, and that person is an idiot. That's all I gotta say. It drives me wild when he says that. Drives me absolutely crazy to where I gotta rant in my own video. That being said, we can store each that's the thing about these programmers. They're so stupid. They are so stupid. They think that this word came first. No, the sound out of a person's mouth came first. Then we put these symbols to that sound. The word looked stupid. We can't say template like this. That looks stupid. So we spell it like this. And then an idiot comes around later and says, well, it says template. I'm going to say template. No. This word is not wind. It's wind. And sometimes it's wind too. Okay. That's how English works. It's crazy. All right. What else is another word that people mess up all the time? I know I mess up words all the time. I can't think of any. Anyway, just letting you know. We can store each distinct object. If you catch me doing that, you call me out on it, right? Its own variable. We call this having multiple instances of the same class. each instance has its own copy of the instance variables. Okay, let's read it. So we can create, we can create lots of objects. Yes, we can. The class is the template for the object. We can store each distinct object in its own variable. We call this having multiple instances of the same class. Okay, so each object is in its own variable, and these are all multiple instances. Yeah, each instance has its own copy of the instance variable. Isn't that what we've talked about already? Anyway, whatever.
Of instances. Everything we've done so far is we make a class and then we create one instance, one object. And each of these objects end up being stored in its own variable. We have a variable AN and we've been using it. But the more interesting thing begins to happen when we have multiple instances of the same class sitting in different.
I just thought of one. Here's a word. Doesn't that say have? Doesn't that say have right there? Doesn't that say have? Doesn't that say Javi? No, it says have. All right, let's go.
Different variables, and it has its own copy of the instance variables. So let's take a look at this.
Whoa. Oh, great. And it's not the exact same. Okay, let's write this down, and then let's write this down. Codeman S. All right, constructors can have additional parameters. All right, let's do that. Constructors can have additional parameters. All right, these can be used to set up let's drop this. Instance variables for the particular instance of the class. Class, right? That's not how it's spelled. Just kidding. All right, I period E period for the particular. Let's drop it down here. Object. That's not how you spell anything. Object. There we go. All right. All right. Let's put this example down. Example. Let's drop this down. All right. All right. This is good. Class party animal. Can we take anything from what we did before? Not really. Sort of. All right, let's get this first part then. At least. All right, let's drop this. Right, thus. Okay. All right, so name under here, we're going to put name equals empty string. Okay. Def in itself, comma Z. Okay. Self name equals Z. All right. All right. Self dot name equals Z. Print self dot name constructed, sure. All right. So def party self right here, self dot x equals self dot x plus 1. All right. Is that how we say it? Plus? Just kidding. Print self.name. All right. We're going to also print party count. And then we'll also print self.x. Okay. Let's come over here. S equals party animal, party animal. Sally's a party animal. Sally needs to get her life together. It's not good to be a party animal. S dot party. And then we'll say J equals party animal. Party animal. Jim also needs to get his life together. Jim here. All right. J dot party. And then we've got S dot party. All right. Slick. All right. So let's see what this means. We wrote it down. Let's look at this. Okay. So class party animal. X equals 0. All right. As usual. Name equals nothing. Def init self z. Z. Okay, what? Okay, we're going to have to call z. So self.name equals z. Okay. Print self.name constructed. Yeah, we don't have the usual what it prints out over here. Def party self.x equals self.x plus 1. Print self.name party count self.x. All right. S equals party animal Sally. S dot party. Okay. J equals this. J dot party. S dot party. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell. As usual, it's not exactly like it's used to be. And so this is hard to see. So self.name equals z. Self.name. Let's go through this. Let's watch him talk about it.
So this code.
Remember, also another thing, and you might see me doing this. If you see a huge mistake, like he didn't put the print, what gets printed out, it's not because he's clever. It's because he didn't know that he didn't do it. That's what it is. It's people. When you see people doing things and you think it's genius, most of the time it's just a mistake and it's just a lucky break. In this case, we're not lucky, and we're gonna have to listen to me talking smack. All right, so let's go through this.
Here, I've taken out the destructor, and it shows a little bit more information. So now we're going to put two variables in here. We're going to have a current score or whatever and a name, and we're going to start it out as blank. And this time we're going to add a parameter onto the constructor. And so the self comes in sort of automatically as the object is being constructed. But if we put a parameter on the constructor call, which is this party animal call, then this comes in as the z variable. And so self is the object itself, and z, this first parameter, is whatever parameter we put here. Everything we've done so far has no parameter here, but now we have a parameter here. And then that means that when we call this constructor, this line of code comes, and then name is no longer blank. Name is going to be Sally in this particular thing.
Okay, what? Oh. Sally constructed. So what? Excuse me? This is not the bottleneck, is it? I hope not. All right. So this self.name is z. Z constructed. All right. We don't even see what's printed out. Let's go.
And then I'll say, oh, self.name, which will be Sally, was been constructed. And so then we have this, and that object is now constructed, and then we put it in the variable s. And then we call the party method on that, and we construct a different one. And so this time it calls, and z is Jim, and we basically have another copy of this. And so this is how it's going to look, right? As it runs down here, when this is called, it makes one instance and stores that in the variable s. And there's a variable x in there's There's a name in there. There's an init method and party, and that's all in here, right? All that stuff is in here. And now we say, let's make, and that's going to have a Sally in there. All right, Sally in there. And then we're going to do another constructor, and so it's going to make a whole new thing, and it's going to store that in J, and this one's going to have Jim in it. On S party, then this turns into a 1, and then we're going to call J party. That turns that into a 1, and then S party will cause this to be a 2. Okay, and so what happens is we have now two objects, one in the variable S and one in the variable J, and they have separate copies of their instance variables. These are the instance variables or the object fields or whatever, but they're the variables. But the key is that every time we do a new construction, it duplicates this, and there's another copy of it. So there's an X within S. So S.X is this variable, and J.X is that variable. Okay?
No.
So the next thing...
You son of a... Of course he doesn't write it down. Of course he doesn't freaking write down what this thing looks like. Of course he doesn't. Why would he do that? Why? Why have any kind of consistency? You know, why not just do whatever the hell you want? Because somebody told you or whatever. Well, you're not. Okay, bro? You're not. Okay, so what is this return? What is this? What is this? This is so infuriating, I swear. These people are so infuriating. But you know what? Like I said, cut him some slack. He doesn't know what he's doing. Because if he knew what he was doing, he would have done it. Right? That makes sense. So cut these people some slack. Just because he's an old man doesn't mean he knows what's going on in life. He's actually just an old man. That's what's going on here. So we're going to have to figure this out ourselves because this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh my God. This stuff is infuriating, I swear. Okay, we got to go back. We got to go back to here without any crap on the screen. All right. All right. So what's going on? We got X equals 0, name equals an empty string. We got def init self Z. All right. So we learned that the Z is going to be Sally because that's how it works. Okay. Z, for some reason, if you put two parameters in this, the second parameter is going to be whatever the argument is. Okay. All right. There's the first part. So self.name equals Z. So this is going to equal Sally. All right. Print self name constructed. What? You know what? You know what? I remember that this is 2024 and we don't have to rely on pension thieves, people that are freaking completely away from the beginner experience telling us things that they think we should know already. All right, so let's come over here and let's put this in ChatGPT like somebody that's actually smart. All right, so let's do this. Let's come over here. Thanks, Chuck. You did a fine job. All right, life's throws everybody curveballs. What's this return? Let's go through the code to understand what it returns step by step. All right. I think we should. All right. So the class party animal has two attributes, X, which is initialized to 0. What? Oh, yeah. And name initialized to an empty string. True. All right. It also has an init method constructor, which takes a parameter Z to initialize the name attribute and prints the message indicating the construction of an instance. Thanks, ChatGPT. Did they steal this from Python for everybody and just wrote it? That's very possible. The party method increments X and prints the name along with the party count. What? Creating S equals party animal Sally. The init method is called with Sally as Z. True. This self.name is Sally and prints Sally constructed. What? Then S party is called. So this is called. Okay. Where are we? X is incremented by one self. X equals 1 and prints Sally party count 1. Say what? Okay. Sally constructed Sally party count 1. Jim constructed Jim party count 1. Sally party count 2. Okay. So when this is called, it says Sally constructed. That's what this is. All right. And then it'll say Sally party count 1 because of this. Okay. So Sally constructed Sally party count 1. All right. That's what this call is going to do. And then we say J, we make a new instance of party animal, and it's J. Jim. Okay, J, whatever. So J constructed J party count 1. That's what this is. And then Sally gets called again. So Sally, we don't need to do this because it's already initialized. It's already constructed. So we're just going to go through this. And then it goes like that. And this is the final output. So for summary, each instance of party animal has its own name and X attributes. I would have never known this had we not have come over to ChatGPT. That's reality. That is the absolute reality of this pension thief. Okay. Of this tuition thief right here. We would have never got this had we not have gone here. All right. Tuition thief. This guy is this. If you want to know why, it's so much money to go to higher education? It's because of these disgusting thieves right here, okay, that don't even do their damn job, okay? I'm doing this guy's job for him. That's the absolute reality of this. So when you say, oh, I wish I could go to college, but I don't want to pay $1 million for it, thank this guy for making it $1 million, because not only is he bad at his job, but he's also getting paid to be bad at his job. Okay? So that's what's going on right here. Let's just take this. Actually, let's write this down. So we're going to put Sally constructed Sally party count 1. All right, let's do that. All right, so let's do this. We'll call this, what are we going to call this? What are we going to call this? Let's call it constructor.py. Party constructor.py. Yeah, let's call it that. And let's do it snake case since it's Python. All right, so we got that. So let's say run party. Hold on, Python space party constructor.py. Okay. And then we've got Sally constructed. Sally constructed. Then we've got here Jim. No, Sally party count 1. Sally party count 1. All right. And we've got Jim constructed. Jim constructed. Jim party count 1. And then we're going to say Sally party count 2. Sally party count 2. All right. And that's what happens when we run this thing. All right. So there's that. What a piece of crap, honestly. What a piece of crap, honestly. Whatever. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Anyway, question. What will the following program print? So we got class, party animal, x equals 0, this. Self init, self name equals nam. Terrible naming conviction. Print self.name constructed. Okay, so it's just like what we did. So we're going to print Quincy constructed, Quincy party 1, M constructed. Who's M? Maya constructed, Maya party count 1, Quincy party count 2. That looks like this one. Yeah, it's exactly this one. All right, check our answer. We would have never got that. Honestly, we would have never got that if it wasn't for ChatGPT. This guy, he's a thief. This guy's a thief. They just, but you know what? They got to eat. Man's got to eat, right? Man's got to eat. Eating takes more priority than competency. And that's true. Everybody knows it. Let's go. All right, so there's that. That's the end of that. Enough rants for one video. Now we're on to object inheritance, and we'll see you next time.